And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, they often say that to get ahead in life, a fella needs to dress for success. They also say that the clothes make the man. That's why I only wear the finest T-shirts made from some of the most luxurious synthetic fabrics in the world. Because when it comes to looking good, I spare no expense at the Walmart bargain bin and at the clearance rack. Sadly, some people ignore the rules of appropriate dress and slap on any old thing before leaving the house. And when that happens, you can expect consequences. For example, yesterday, the NBA fined Oklahoma City Thunder All-Star forward Jalen Williams $25,000 for wearing an inappropriate T-shirt at Sunday's post-game press conference following Game 7 over their win over the Denver Nuggets. During the press conference, Jalen Williams was dressed in a T-shirt which read, and I quote, "F art, let's dance." Now, as you know, I'm not one to judge. However, it has always been my belief that wearing T-shirts with inappropriate words, messages, phrases, or images are often intentional decisions which are made to provoke negative and possibly combative responses. This is why most people choose not to wear these kinds of things at job interviews, funerals, weddings, court appearances, and NBA postseason press conferences. This is why the NBA handed down the $25,000 fine, because you see, press conferences are often seen as a reflection of the league itself. Wearing a T-shirt that suggests an inappropriate physical action to the conceptual ambiguities of artistic expression to make room for dancing not only doesn't make any sense, it's also offensive. You see, not all of us can dance. Moreover, there are other ways of making the same argument without having to resort to the use of coarse and offensive language to do it, especially in front of the hot lights and cameras of an NBA press conference. Either way, you just turned a $14 T-shirt into one that cost you $25,000 to wear. That's not just a matter of you being stupid, it's also a matter of you being financially careless. And as a supporter of free speech, I can't support that kind of thing. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. An Ego is a quieter machine than a gas mower. There's no pull cord to start it. There's no stinky gasoline. You can flip an Ego mower upside down. Go to Rocky's. Get an Ego mower for $5.99 with your Ace Rewards card. It includes the battery and the charger. Again, available now at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:09 and Led Zeppelin with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be, I'll tell you right now, mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 61. Tomorrow, rain showers possible, high of 58. It's 45 right now in downtown Springfield.
Steve, Hollywood Trash is brought to you by the Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Denzel Washington had a heated confrontation with a photographer on the red carpet at the Cannes Film Festival. He was on his way into the premiere of his new movie, Highest to Lowest, when he got in the guy's face and started scolding him. The photographer tried to laugh it off, and he playfully grabbed at Denzel's arm, which just made things worse.
Oh, you don't paw
at
Denzel.
Denzel shrugged the guy off and told him repeatedly to stop it before walking away. No word on what the guy did to make Denzel mad. Highest to Lowest is Denzel's latest collaboration with Spike Lee. It's a remake of the 1963 Japanese movie High and Low.
You know, I saw the picture of Denzel yelling at this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to take a picture out of context and know exactly what was being said, but boy, he did look pissed.
Yeah.
Like he was going to take a swing at this guy. That's how angry Denzel seemed to be.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
I mean, he could have popped him right in the coconut for all I know.
I wouldn't mess with a guy like that. He's ripped. And even at his age, he knows a thing or two about a thing or two and how to kick somebody's ass.
Well, I'm a lover, not a fighter, Steve, so I probably wouldn't provoke him or any other actor.
Conan O'Brien joined Toy Story 5 as the voice of a new character named Smarty Pants. I'm sure that will be taken over by Jay Leno anytime now.
But then Leno will not want it and give Conan the chance to get it again, but then take it away from Conan a second time.
He'll give him a different character.
That's
and
right.
Then come back. He announced the news yesterday in a video where he joked that he asked for the role of Woody. I was like, you kind of been there and done that, you know? You're kind of bitten a rut, don't you think? And they said, no, it's Tom Hanks. It's his role. And I went, guys, you got to think outside the box. But anyway, they showed me this new character, Smarty Pants. It's the best character of them all. I don't even want to play Woody or Buzz anymore, even if they beg me. I'm Smarty Pants. I love this. Ernie Hudson is also joining the cast. He's taking over as Combat Carl since the passing of Carl Weathers. Not too much yet is known about the plot, except the toys will deal with modern-day kids and electronics. And Tim Allen previously said there will be a focus on Jessie. Toy Story 5 hits theaters on June 19th of 2026, so we got a little bit of time before that comes out.
I was able to get a little insight into the plot line, and apparently it's about toys that speak.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Never saw that. Never
No?
heard. No. Sesame Street will live on thanks to Netflix, which has struck a deal for new episodes. Until recently, Sesame Workshop was in business with Warner Brothers Discovery. Under that deal, the episodes wouldn't air on PBS until months after their debut on HBO and Max, soon to once again be HBO Max.
Steve, it's pronounced debut.
I think it's called debut.
I bet you do, but it's debut.
But now, new seasons of Sesame Street will air on PBS the same day they hit Netflix.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Sesame Street will begin its 56th season later this year. I wonder, when the Sesame Street episode runs out, does Tom Segura's Bad Thoughts is the next?
I don't know.
Have you seen that, by the way?
No, I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
It is just absolutely, I mean, it's funny, but it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like all the things in Tom Segura's head that he would really want to do,
but would never do.
And it's like parodies of like the movie Sniper. What was the one with now I can't remember his name. I don't know. It was a sniper movie.
Okay.
And he's like, I got 2 rules, no women and no children. And he immediately kills a woman. And he goes, I got 1 rule, no children. The whole thing is just absolutely messed up, but very funny. But not for the kids. You wouldn't want to watch that,
Probably.
After Sesame Street.
Probably not.
Jennifer Hudson loves having guests enter her show through the Spirit Tunnel. Quote, our goal and mission for season 3 was to choose joy. What better way to spread joy than through song?
Through a tunnel.
A spirit tunnel.
I don't even know what that is.
They don't just walk out on stage, I guess. They boogie through a backstage hallway that's lined with Jennifer's staff who clap and chant and set the mood. Isn't that kind of like Soul Train? That's
the Soul Train line.
That's what it sounds like.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
The show's YouTube account even has a section devoted to Spirit Tunnel videos featuring everyone from SZA to Kevin Hart to Billy Zane.
Wow.
How about that?
Where's Don Cornelius when you needed him?
I don't know. I think that's a great idea, though. You know what? If we needed anything, it's a Spirit Tunnel in this day and age.
Or to revisit the Soul Train line. That was always great fun.
It's graduation time for the class of 2025, whether it's high school or college. Here's a list of the best graduation songs. You ready?
Yes.
School's Out by Alice Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
We've never played that before.
No.
Panic at the Disco's Hey Look Ma, I Made It. Good Riddance from Green Day. Oh, God, that song. That Billy Joe's got the voice of an angel.
I want to rip my face off every time I hear that song and plant it in boiling acid.
We Are Young from Fun. Moment for Life from Nicki Minaj. I'm surprised WAP wasn't number 1.
That would have been my guess.
Prom from SZA. The Edge of Glory from Lady Gaga. And Graduation from Vitamin C.
Good choices.
Yeah.
Really good choices.
This doesn't sound like anything that I would want to be a part of.
I really would just want to grab my my diploma and bug out of there. Without all of the speeches and oh my gosh.
Whitney Houston's estate is celebrating the 40th anniversary of her debut in music with a tour this fall. And no, it won't be more of that hologram business.
Steve, I believe it's pronounced debut.
I don't know. Have you ever seen that Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston show? I believe it was called Debut. It's called The Voice of Whitney, a symphonic celebration. It'll include original and mastered recordings of her hits with new musical arrangements, plus never-before-seen footage and interviews. Because we don't have enough Whitney Houston in our lives, do we?
We don't.
Yeah.
Not in a long time.
Kim Kardashian is under fire after accidentally tagging Morgan Freeman in a thirst trap photo meant for Morgan Wallen instead. Yeah.
She must have something to say.
Oh, my God, the last time I mixed up two men that badly, Ray J was dressed like Wesley Snipes from Blade while slapping around my whispering eye in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
I could totally see where she would get confused. Caitlin?
Well, I never got that done and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but one time she gave me something called the Dalai Lama Ding Dong, which involved chanting, hot wax, and a string of prayer beads I'm still trying to return. You call it tantric, I call it unexpectedly flammable. I had to air out my chakra in a walk-in freezer for 3 days.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is it reminds me of the time of that charity bocce tournament at Gary Busey's house, and Jeff Goldblum got overexcited during a game of drunk twister, slipped on a watermelon rind, and landed groin first onto one of those lawn flamingos. The plastic spike pierced his pants and pinned one of his love nuggets like a butterfly in a science fair display. We were all too stunned to move except for Pauly Shore, who immediately wrapped the injured testicle in a vegan burrito wrapper and tried to baptize it in ginger ale.
Hey, buddy.
And Goldblum just kept repeating, life finds a way, while his left yam looked like it was auditioning for Cirque du Soleil. You know, it taught me two things, Bax.
Really? What did it teach you?
Never mix tequila with bocce, and never underestimate Pauly Shore's emergency first aid skills. Hey, buddy. You were premature on that. Hey, buddy.
I'm sorry. It happens.
And that's your Hollywood trash on Rock. And somebody wants this to go away.
I don't know why. Come on, it's art, practically.
That's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 627, and Soundgarden with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
The lead singer suffered a mishap after that song.
Now, didn't you do something in Syracuse once?
We used to have a parody song. It was called A-Hole Son.
Oh, I bet that must have been hilarious.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast, Dan Brown should have. I think that's in there, right?
Oh, yeah. We're all ready to go.
And there you go. I mean, it's 6:27 already. Do you want to laugh?
I do,
all right.
Steve. It's what I want to do badly.
All right.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
So you know that Amber Heard has given birth to twins, right?
Yes.
You heard about that? And she admitted that Charlie Sheen is the twins' father.
Really?
Yeah. In a statement, she said the kids will be raised by their father and will take his name. She agreed that the children should be Sheen and not Heard.
You did not Heard.
You know what, though? Knowing what we know about Charlie, you might want to get them tested.
Or boiled.
Or yeah.
Because something's going to go on there.
Something there.
Bax and
631 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Yankee Home Improvement. If you're thinking about a new walk-in shower system, call Yankee Home and mention Rock 102. You'll get $1,021 off plus 50% off installation all month long. There's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
You know, I got slow roasted on the Route 10 tire listener line.
Slow roasted.
Yeah, because it took 24 hours for somebody to respond to something I said yesterday. What were we? Oh, we were talking about. Somebody said Kim Kardashian bit has run its course.
Okay,
or something like that, right? And then some guy wrote in and said, "I'd rather hear the Kim K bit over Steve crying about a colonoscopy." I haven't talked about the colonoscopy since I had it, which was 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Actually, it was January. That's how long ago that was, right? And I said, you sound like the type of person who claps when a plane lands. Isn't that weird? Isn't that cringy when people clap and they're like, it's like he did his job. You don't need to clap. But I said that's what he sounded like. And he said, that sounds like something right out of your 20-cent comedy act. And then I said, which is May 29th at the Shortstop, $20 dinner and a comedy show. You can't beat it. Thanks. And then it took almost a day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm waiting for some, like,
Right.
It took until 5:44 this morning. Thanks, but no thanks. I already wasted $20 seeing it. It took you. Well, it's not even that. It took you that long, and that's all you came up with.
Well, I mean,
Come on.
maybe he didn't have access to his phone or got busy during the day. But even still, why the hatred? Why the vitriol with this guy?
Here, I'm just gonna go this. Are you watching this?
I'm watching this right now. Yeah. Okay. Oh, all right. And hit send.
Hang on.
No.
Hang on.
No. Okay.
Let's see if I can do this. There you go.
Uh-huh.
Boom.
And
let's see.
Ooh!
Yeah,
snap!
I said I think the Kellogg crew is more Wii speed.
Yeah. It's possible that's just what he's more into. Like he's not. He can't possibly appreciate all the highbrow entertainment we dish out every single day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I don't know. I just thought that maybe there would be a better comeback after almost 24 hours of dwelling on it.
Yeah, I got news for you.
Yeah.
$20 in a comedy show is a hell of a deal. If you can't enjoy yourself for $20 where you get fed and there's like, wall-to-wall, deep pile, shag comedy going on all over the place, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's not on Steve Nagle.
Well, but I mean, he doesn't feel the Kim Kardashian bit has run its course.
Well, apparently he has. He feels that if it has or that it hasn't.
It has not. He would rather hear the Kim K thing versus my colonoscopy talk, which I haven't talked about in 4 months.
Well, I can't vouch for this guy's taste or lack thereof.
All right, you ready for some news?
I suppose.
Police have
We're
arrested.
doing pretty good without it.
Police have arrested. We never do enough stories about Savoy, do we?
There's not enough people or things that go on in Savoy to usually report on anything.
Well, there was something recently, actually last week, because it took that long to get the news here. Police have arrested a Savoy man following a narcotics investigation and subsequent motor vehicle stop. According to police, on Thursday, May 15th, detectives were conducting surveillance on a vehicle suspected of being involved in drug activity. As part of the ongoing investigation, law enforcement teams observed the vehicle travel outside Berkshire County. Members of the Northwestern Anti-Crime Task Force assisted in maintaining surveillance as investigators observed behavior consistent with a drug transaction. What are behaviors consistent with a drug transaction?
The selling of drugs and the receiving of money for those drugs.
Handing a brick of cocaine out the car, is that considered behaviors of a drug transaction?
That's one of the many behaviors.
After the vehicle re-entered Berkshire County, officers conducted a motor vehicle stop in the town of Savoy. The operation led to the arrest of Donald Draywick of Savoy and the seizure of significant quantity of narcotics and drug paraphernalia. Authorities recovered approximately 30 grams of cocaine and crack cocaine, one bundle of heroin, a digital scales, and other material associated with drug distribution. He was taken into custody on charges of trafficking cocaine and possession of a Class A substance. The investigation remains active, and officials have not ruled out additional charges.
Now, let me ask you this, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Were his customers from town, or were these out-of-towners going all the way up to Savoy?
It sounds like they were going in and out of the state.
I see.
Because that's right in the northwest corner of Massachusetts. Is Savoy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right at the state line there. So maybe they were going back and forth. I don't know.
It's like a town away, but even still, it's only like 649 people in Savoy.
Wow.
Yeah, if you arrest a drug ring in Savoy, that might be 38% of the entire population of Savoy.
Isn't that like an old? Yeah, that's the whole population. Isn't that stomping at the Savoy? Wasn't that like a Glenn Miller thing or something like that?
You might be right about that.
I can't remember my big band era.
It's a little bit before your time.
Yeah.
Unless Jive Bunny was playing in your dad's car.
The Post Commission has voted to revoke the certification of 2 Western Massachusetts police officers and not to discipline a 3rd officer. The commission voted to decertify former Springfield police officer Leon Davis who they found used excessive force when shocking a woman multiple times with a taser back in 2020. They also voted to decertify former Agawam Reserve Police Officer Matthew Hubbard for lying on an official form about previous injuries and the fact that he was receiving disability payments. A third officer, Stanley Clerge, will not have his certification revoked. A hearing officer did not find allegations of domestic violence against Clerge to be credible. Meanwhile, Greg Bigg is sitting there with a Pabst Blue Ribbon in his hand, waving at everybody at the court. Hey, guys! When you're ready to come to the wild side, let me know.
Just so that we're not, casting, judgments. There are a lot of people that phony up their injuries to receive benefits. It's not just, this guy's a cop, but a lot of other people in other sectors of the community that are more than happy to receive disability benefits.
Yeah.
Without being all that disabled. I'm not saying it happens all the time with everybody, but I got to tell you, it happens.
It happens.
Let's not say all cops. Let's say all cops are doing it. It's one guy. He just happened to be a cop. Could have been a pharmacist. Could have been a lamplighter. Could have been a hat salesman. A haberdasher.
The old lamplighter.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a great song, by the way. The old lamplighter.
Yeah.
Students at John Dugan Academy in Springfield got an important message from a special visitor to warn them about the dangers of drunk driving, and the presentation comes from a man who was arrested for drunk driving just months ago. You may remember Western Mass News reports back in September of the Hampden County Sheriff Nick Cochee, who was questioned and later arrested at MGM Springfield for drunk driving. Immediately after the body cam footage of the arrest was released, the sheriff issued a statement, said that he has done everything possible to show the public that he believes in transparency and accountability, even for himself. Now taking it a step further, Cochee spent Monday speaking with the students of the Dugan Academy to share his experience and warn them of a potentially deadly scenario. I want to take my opportunity from my incident that was embarrassing, it was humiliating, but to take that and share it, he said, learn from somebody else's experience. Well, there you go. He's turning a negative into a positive.
I actually think that's pretty impactful. It means more to hear from someone who's been through it than someone who says, you better not do it because it's naughty, as opposed to a guy who says, you better not do it because you won't believe what a pain in the ass it is to get out of it.
Yeah. And, now when you have to, chase after a suspect, you got to breathe into the thing before you start the patrol car.
How tough is that?
Hang on. I'm going to get you. Hang on.
I don't know how much chasing down Nick Cochee actually does.
Well, you never know. Maybe you're at a traffic detail and you see somebody speed through the traffic cones. You're going to go after him.
No, I get it.
But then you got to blow into the thing before you start the car.
I think he's got people to do that for him.
William Snow, associate principal of the Dugan Academy, told Western Mass News that teenagers don't always remember that they are constantly making life-changing decisions, including getting behind the wheel. We wanted to do something, anything we could do, to try to raise awareness, just to try to get kids to remember that they are making decisions when they're driving this week and next week. Our boss did a video last week under requirement of doing many videos.
Right.
He did a video about a story about why less young people are drinking. And it's not necessarily that it's dangerous. It's that they can't afford it. Because alcohol is actually more expensive than marijuana now.
Is that true?
Yeah. You can get joints and stuff for cheaper than you can get alcohol from.
Even a couple of nip bottles? Probably depending on what it is?
Well, it depends on how messed up you want to get.
Really messed up?
Yeah.
Like roundhouse.
Roundhouse kind of messed up. I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. I remember scraping my nickels together with all the empties on the floor of the dorm, and then going and trading it in for the six-pack of Genesee Ice and an Admiral Schmutz or whatever it was. That
right.
Was it was like the generic Captain Morgan. It was like Admiral something.
I told you we used to go to the blood center and donate plasma and get paid $15 to do $20 to do it.
Which is always a good idea, isn't it?
Well, they would tell you after you donated your plasma, thank you very much for your donation. we strongly recommend not drinking alcoholic beverages after making a donation of your platelets. And of course, that you tell a 19, 20-year-old kid that doesn't sound like a warning. That sounds like a challenge. And so that's when you drop the gauntlet and say, I'm not supposed to drink, but I got $20 in my pocket.
There you go.
And it ain't all going to a pizza.
And a low blood count.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you go to the blood center, give away your plasma. Next thing you know, you're at the Packy buying a 6-pack of Lowenbrow, and boom, you're off to a great start.
Can you even do that anymore?
No, I don't think I sell Lowenbrow.
No, I mean the plasma donation.
I think I guess.
Lowenbrow. Who's drinking that?
Hey, back in the 80s, Lowenbrow was a hot seller.
I remember the jingle in my head.
Of course you do.
This beer, something calls for Lowenbrow right now.
No. Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer we'll pour must seems nothing more somehow. So tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Wow.
You know how I know that?
You have a drinking problem.
No, I had
a drinking problem.
I was drinking problem adjacent.
Yeah.
I didn't say I would had the drinking problem, but back then, you didn't go into a liquor store, buy Lowenbrow, without singing the song in your head.
Is that what it was? It was like, it's like the Juicy Fruit jingle.
That's it.
You're singing the Juicy Fruit jingle. That's why you pick up Juicy Fruit at the counter when you're walking out the grocery store.
That's right.
It's the Lowenbrow.
The Lowenbrow.
Lowenbrow. Was it good beer?
Considering this was kind of pre-craft beer years.
Yeah.
And the only kind of beer you can get was like the mass-produced stuff.
It was the best of the best.
It was not really the best of the best. It was adequate beer in the disguise of a premium beer.
Ah.
It looked like a better beer. It wasn't really that much better than anything else.
And how many years did it take you to get through that college?
5.5.
5.5.
5.5.
Yeah. 5.5 solid years.
I wouldn't say solid. It all depends on your definition of the word solid.
As solid as your liver was by the time you graduated.
Let's say 5.5
rock.
moderately loose years.
All right. Your Pioneer Valley forecast. No, those were the stools that were coming out of you after drinking Lowenbrow. That was the loose part.
Yeah. It's true.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 61. Tomorrow, rain showers with a high of 58. It's 46 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
GG Inc.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:52.
Yeah.
And the Rolling Stones of Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Let's see. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 61. Tomorrow, rainy with a high of 58. It's 46 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hey, here's something fun. Join Steve Nagle, that's you, and the Rock 102 Road Crew tomorrow from 1 to 3 at the Mass Hires Holyoke Fresh Start Career Fair at the Basketball Hall of Fame. Meet dozens of employers ready to hire and explore job training programs and so much more. And while you're there, say hi to Steve Nagle for your chance to win some pretty cool prizes. That's tomorrow, 1 to 3 at the Mass Hire Holyoke's Fresh Start Career Fair at the Basketball Hall of Fame with Steve from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. Plenty of parking for everybody.
No. You can get a job as a valet parker for the Basketball Hall of Fame. They're always looking for people to do that. I mean, do you really want to park a half a mile away? No. You get somebody to do it for you.
You can park on either side of the building. There's even a lot down below.
Yeah.
Just don't take more than 16 spaces at a time.
Some guy just called here, and he was asking us if he was calling in for, what did he say?
He said, is this Rock 102? And we're like, yeah,
Yes.
it's Rock 102. He said, I've got the answer to question number 43.
42. I think it was 42.
43, 42.
Right.
Hardly makes a difference. The question is, we didn't ask 42 questions or 43 questions, but he thought we asked something of him.
And I said, what radio station are you listening to? And he said, are you listening to 102.9 perhaps? And he couldn't answer me. And I said, what's on your radio dial? And he's like, I don't know. It was on the app through the phone. I can't look at the phone while I'm listening to it. He was listening to those knuckleheads down in New Haven, is what he was listening to.
Yeah.
And I told him he won nothing. He called and he won, and we're not having a contest right now.
And it was too late to win the other contest because he was wasting so much time talking to idiots like us.
Yeah. I don't know what's worse, the dinks calling open line or the dink thinking he's listening to us, but he's listening to two other dinks. There's a lot of dinkage going on in this area.
I don't know what has become of us. It just seems like we've become a magnet for the dink population of all of Western Mass and Northern Connecticut. Like, is there nowhere else for you to go than to bother us? We're trying to do a show here.
I don't know. I feel bad that we took up most of that guy's time, and now he's not going to have time to call those other two dinks and give the answer. I mean, he could have won.
I would have loved to have known what the prize was.
I wonder what they're giving away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, was the prize so good that it was worth calling the wrong number? To humiliate yourself in front of us?
It could be. Let's see what they're giving away down there. Well, they're giving away. They're paying your electric bill. That's their contest they got going on there. They're working with the local electrical union to pay your electric bill.
By the way, we're not doing that. That's the only prize we have today is to see the refugee, the Tom Petty experience at 52 Sumner.
I will play you the electric slide, but I will not pay your electric bill.
That's a pretty fair trade, if you ask me.
What do you want? Two dinks paying your electric bill, or do you want Marcia Griffiths, presented by Steve Nagle? Boogie woogie woogie.
Yeah. Tell you what, how about paying my electric bill at a time of the year where I need it the most, like when my air conditioning is on, or when when I'm indoors in the wintertime.
I was gonna say, this is like not the time to be paying the electric bill.
It'd be like saying
January was the month. February.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna pay your Christmas credit cards in May.
Yeah.
And I've already kind of chipped away at that already.
We're gonna pay your Columbus Day weekend sale shopping spree at Kohl's
in April.
Yeah. By the time we give you that Kohl's gift certificate, all the stores will be closed up.
Ah, well. Listen, he made a mistake. What are you gonna do? It's an honest mistake, I suppose.
I guess so.
Any dope could probably make that. He happened to be the biggest one to call us, thinking we were two other guys. But you know what? It's not his fault.
Yeah, we've talked to bigger dinks.
Oh, boy, have we ever.
By the way, join us for Open Lines this Friday, right here on Rock 102.
You've been warned.
Yes.
It's 6:57 with Bax and Nagle.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, I don't want to alarm anybody, but the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles are just 1,151 days away from today. And while they have chosen to suspend training for several Olympic events, there are many people who have not. There are also some people who haven't quite started but have every intention to, provided that they are allowed to. This week, the NFL owners will begin their spring meetings in Minnesota to discuss a number of important topics related to the game of football. Rule changes, policy modifications, labor considerations, and what have you. But among the most important of these issues is whether or not to allow NFL players to enjoy the opportunity to participate in Olympic flag football in 2028. Yes, I said flag football, a game that looks like football, but without all the physical contact and violence that makes the game so damn interesting. This week, the owners will discuss whether or not to allow active players the opportunity to play. If 24 of the 32 owners agree to this proposal, that would give them the green light to negotiate with the Players Union, Olympic officials, and other national governing bodies about the specifics of letting interested players participate. If they choose not to proceed with the proposal, then USA Football, which oversees the U.S. national team, will field other players from around the country. In fact, a roster of non-NFL players has already been selected, but for this year only. I mean, can you imagine that? You make the U.S. Olympic flag football team knowing that you could very easily be replaced despite spending your entire lifetime waiting for this very moment to fulfill your Olympic dreams, only to have it taken away from you because some professional NFL player in his multi-million-dollar guaranteed contract thinks he knows a little bit more about the intricate nuances of flag football a little bit better than you. Well, I don't think so, mister. Listen, flag football, with its storied and glorious rich traditions at city parks and backyard barbecues, doesn't need the NFL player to compete on an international level. The NFL's got its own stuff to deal with. I say leave flag football to the dreamers of dreams and let them play the game on their own terms, because that is what the Olympics are all about. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Scott's Naturescapes Color Enhanced Mulch. Beautiful stuff. 3 bags, $10 at Rocky's, and the bags are bigger at Rocky's. 2 cubic feet. At those other home centers, you're going to get 1.5 cubic feet. Do the math. You're getting a better deal at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 7-Eleven and Def Leppard with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be a mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 61. Tomorrow, rainy with a high of 58. It is 46 right now in downtown Springfield. Are you ready for another round of Am I the A-Hole?
Yes.
All right. Number one. Am I the a-hole for divorcing my husband for being infertile? I, 29 female, have been with my husband, 29, for 6 years, married for 3. We both come from family-oriented backgrounds and have always wanted children. We're financially stable and can provide a child an amazing life. We've officially started trying for a baby in early 2023. After months of nothing, I started to get worried. I wanted to get our fertility checked, but he said I was being a worry rat, and I think it's worry wart.
A worry wart,
yeah.
Yes.
And let's wait a year of trying before we get any testing. A year was in February, or, well, I guess, I don't know how old this is. A year was in February, and I scheduled our testing then. The results shocked us. We were both ignorant, and I assumed I was the one with the issue if there was one. Mm-hmm. I mainly see women talking about being infertile, so it didn't cross our mind it could be something else. The doctor calls us and tells us one of the worst days of our lives, like sands through the hourglass, tell us that my husband has a condition called azoospermia, meaning he has no sperm.
Sperm?
None.
He's spermless. Yeah. Without sperm.
Yeah, isn't that kind of a tragedy? You find that out after you get married. You could have been like a bull in a field somewhere, trying to.
A lot of wasted days and wasted nights by standing in line for those condoms at the CVS.
Yeah, I know, right? What a waste. See, this has...
Well, I mean, it would have protected him from certain diseases, too.
See, this now has shifted, now that I've found this information out. You could have been a whore.
Yes.
Yeah. And meanwhile, now you're married, and now you got no kids. I think it's
and now you're stuck with a woman who resents you.
Anyway, in this case, they say that surgery to extract directly from the boys doesn't seem that it will yield high results, but it wouldn't hurt to try. My husband and I were devastated. I wanted to explore all the routes, him taking the medication and getting the surgery, and if that fails, either a sperm donor or adoption. I understand this is life-changing news, especially for my husband, but since February, he's refused to do anything about it. He says he doesn't want to take meds and get the surgery. It'll be a waste like the doctor thinks. That using a donor makes him feel emasculated, and he doesn't want to raise my child with another man's DNA, even if it's from a relative of his. Well, that would be kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Would you ask your older brother to, hey, I need a favor?
Listen, I don't know how to ask this, but hear me out.
And anyway, adoption isn't something he has ever wanted. I have no one to talk to about this in real life since he doesn't want his diagnosis out there, so I'll just put it on the internet for everybody to read. It's been affecting me really bad mentally. There's nothing more than I want to be a mom. I begged him to go to therapy, and he refuses to saying he accepts it. I'm the one that isn't accepting it. Every time I try to conversation, he shuts it down by saying that we will never have a child together. He will never be able to real dad, and so on and so on. I know what I want for myself. That's motherhood. I'm willing to go down any avenue to motherhood, but he doesn't want to. I realized this past summer that he's right. We will never have a child together. I had one final conversation with him since he avoids the topic like the plague last night. I sat him down and I said I empathize with him about his life-changing diagnosis and that he doesn't want to get the surgery, which I respect, or use a donor to adopt. But that I want to be a mom and I'm not getting any younger, and if he isn't willing to explore any avenue or go to fertility therapy, then I want a divorce. So, am I the a-hole for
the
divorcing
question,
my husband for being infertile?
The question is not whether you would leave your husband because he's infertile. The question is, are you leaving your husband because he's unwilling to be flexible in starting a family? The guy's basically swatted down every other possible option. So, I mean, if that's where this is going, and he's not willing to budge or at least come halfway to the table, then yeah, maybe this isn't the right relationship for you.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like she's divorcing him because of the infertility issues. It
Yeah,
sounds like he's like, well, listen, I'll adopt a kid, and he doesn't even want to do that.
See, to me, that's showing a certain level of inflexibility that, in a happy marriage, you have to be flexible at times. And this would be one of those times I say, you know what? Why don't you at least consider the options here for a second?
You know what this calls for?
What?
A Lowenbrow.
You know, Steve, now that you bring it up,
Yeah.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer will pour. Must say something more somehow. So tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
See, that make everything better, wouldn't it?
It really would.
Infertility, divorce.
Should we adopt? Should we use a surrogate?
No.
Or should we just sit back and pop back a few Lowenbrow?
Let it be Lowenbrow.
Yeah,
When you're with good friends, having good times, don't just have a beer. Have a Lowenbrow.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
good friends and good times deserve the taste of a great beer. And there's really only one. Lowenbrow.
Lowenbrow. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Let it be Lowenbrow.
Beer commercials were so romantic back then, weren't they?
They sure were.
Yeah, see? You ready to move on to another one?
I'm ready to move on.
Because I can't help this broad.
Yeah, she's out of luck.
Number
2.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to share my location with my boyfriend just because he wants to feel secure? I've been dating my boyfriend for almost 8 months. Overall, things have been good. He's sweet. He's caring. He's honestly one of the first guys I've ever felt safe with until recently. So this started a few weeks ago. He casually asked me if I could share my location with him just in case something happens. I said I wasn't really comfortable with that, and he immediately asked, why not? What are you hiding? That's the red flag right there, lady. I don't know what you're, sharing locations with people.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I told him I'm not hiding anything. I just value a little independence. I've never even shared my location with my mom, and I feel like if he trusts me, he doesn't need to track me like that. He said it's not about control, but about feeling secure in the relationship. He also said his last girlfriend cheated on him, and this would help him heal.
Yeah.
I told him that I'm really sorry that happened to him, but it's not fair to treat me like I'm going to do the same. He said I was being cold and unwilling to compromise. Fast forward to last night, I went out with my 2 besties to get dinnered and see a movie. I texted him when I got there and even sent a selfie. Later that night, he called me and asked again if I would consider sharing my location because he had a bad feeling. I said no, and now he's barely texting me back. He posted a vague story on Instagram saying, some people don't understand the meaning of loyalty anymore, which honestly made me feel really gross. Now I'm wondering, am I the a-hole for not sharing my location with him? I feel like in a healthy relationship that shouldn't be required, but maybe I'm too young or naive, and this is how adult relationships work. No, you're not the a-hole for not sharing your location. Why does somebody need... That sounds like somebody who is controlling.
Yeah, that sounds like someone whose insecurity is so out of whack that they need to know your location 24 hours a day.
I have my kids' location on their phones.
Yeah.
And I don't even feel like 100% about that. You know what I mean? That's like so I know the general vicinity of where they are, kind of thing. But I don't like sit there and go, hey, what are you doing? Are you moving? Why are you doing that?
It's like, listen, relationships should be built on trust.
Yeah.
Not suspicion.
Yeah.
And not trying to be, you're completely consumed with the desire to control.
And
I mean, if my wife and I don't share locations. I mean, we have a great relationship, but I don't want her to know about my drug deals or my high pimping.
Right. That's none of her business. That's your business.
Yeah, I mean, pimping ain't easy.
As a man, that's my business. That's not your business, lady. No, but I mean, you would share it with her if she needed to know where you were. Like, I say, okay, let me find directions to where you are. I've used that before with, like, family or whatever. Can you, show me the location where you are if you're, like, in a place where you don't know where you are.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, like, constantly turn the location on.
I think if you tracked my movements, I think you'd be stunned by how boring my movements really are.
How very little far you go.
It says here, Baxy hasn't moved off the couch in more than 4 hours.
I'm mapping you.
I'm mapping you just to make sure that you move.
Yeah, I think it's time to dump this guy.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially when you're putting vague Instagram posts up.
Yeah, that's another thing. He's lashing out at you because of his own insecurity.
For his bad experience he had with somebody else.
Yeah, well, listen, it's a different relationship, different people, different circumstance.
That sounds like a narcissist.
Yes, it does.
Because you know what? That's the shadier person. That's the person that's probably doing something, nefarious.
Right.
As checking in on them so they can go off and do their own little thing.
Well, that is possible.
All right, ready to move on to the final one?
I'm ready.
Am I the a-hole for secretly hooking up with my ex-brother-in-law at my sister's second wedding? We listen and we don't judge, Bax. We listen and we don't judge. Look, I already know how this sounds, but let me explain. My sister Ashley divorced her first husband, Derek, about 4 years ago. It was messy, but not tragic. No cheating, no abuse, just mutual falling out of love. Ashley moved on fast and got engaged to her now husband, Brian, about a year and a half after the divorce. The twist? Derek and I always got along a little too well when they were married. Nothing ever happened until the wedding weekend. It started with a drink at the rehearsal dinner, turned into a 2 a.m. catch-up chat at the hotel bar, and you can guess where that ended. Let's just say Derek did more than walk me down memory lane.
Oh, boy.
We both agreed it was a one-time thing, but then it happened again and again. By the time Ashley said I do, Derek and I were fully in a secret situationship, and we hooked up in the coat room at the reception.
Now, before you judge.
Yeah, don't judge.
Here's the rest of the story.
I'm not proud of it. Okay, maybe I'm a little proud. The sex was absolutely insane.
That totally justifies it.
I didn't tell Ashley, obviously. She has no idea, but now Derek's been texting me like he caught feelings, and I'm starting to wonder if this is more about more than just revenge sex with mutual guilt. So, am I the a-hole for sleeping with my ex-brother-in-law at my sister's wedding, or are we both just messy humans drawn to forbidden fruit and proximity-based horniness?
Yes, and yes. There are certain circumstances where a human being can say no, that's okay.
The best thing is to just walk away from that.
Yes.
You know what? You might have feelings for each other, but you hold those feelings and you take it out on somebody else.
And here's another thing. The excuse of, okay, but the sex was great. It's not really that great of an excuse. I couldn't help myself. The sex was so great.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, if you've ever had fantastic sex with somebody that wasn't good for you.
Yeah.
It's hard to say no.
But not impossible to say no, because as good as you think it is, there is a possibility that it will bite you right in the face.
I mean, I had the time of my life at a Subway the other night in Canaan, New York.
Were you alone?
No, I was with a friend. Remember I told you the story?
Oh, that's different.
Well, the sex was insane. Wasn't the only foot long being thrown around that joint. That's why they call it Love's Truck Stop. And there you go. That's another round of Am I the A-hole?
Terrific. It's 7:25 with Bax and Nagle at Rock 102. It's 7:29 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Dan Brown has the full forecast for you.
This week, my guest on Baxi's musical podcast is Steve Barton from the band Translator. Back in the early 80s, they had a hit, like a new wave hit called Everywhere That I'm Not. It's a really cool song, but they had 4 albums during the course of their career. They have a brand new live album. It's actually a performance from their final tour together back in 1986. It's a really cool historical document of a band that was really awesome live. He's also got new music coming out and has a greatest hits collection of his own solo work. It's absolutely an amazing story, and you can hear it on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the app. And it's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Looking forward to that.
And next week, I'm not going to tell you who, but I'm going to be talking to a 2-time Grammy nominee.
Oh, you like the Entertainment Tonight feature.
That's right.
Coming up, somebody special.
That's exactly what
What's
I'm
your
doing.
favorite Backseat musical podcast?
I know. There we go.
There you go.
We got news next to Rock 102.
Here's your
7:34 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news, and it's brought to you by Aquatique Pools. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. The Willimantic Bridge reopened to traffic this morning after officials worked to search for a party on Monday in the Connecticut River. The Holyoke Fire Department states that crews were alerted to a person or persons in the water below the Holyoke Dam around 8 p.m. on Monday. A rescue boat began to search the area. Holyoke Fire Captain David Rex said that a woman had been pulled from the water before the fire department's arrival. She was evaluated and taken to a local emergency room. No update on her condition at this time. The South Hadley Fire Department, the Chicopee Fire Department, and Holyoke Police, South Hadley Police, and Chicopee Police also searched the shores between the dam and the Jones Ferry using boats and unmanned drones. Springfield Fire and DEP also assisted further down the river. No individual has been located at this time. Crews will be back out this morning in about an hour from now to continue their search from Jones Ferry. And 22 News will have you updated, maybe.
Okay. We'll wait.
Good luck. Anytime they say that, I picture Leslie Nielsen walking in and going, good luck. We're all counting on you for the updates.
I just
He
saw
walks into the 22 News room.
Yeah. I just saw Leslie Nielsen line the other day that I completely forgot about, but it still makes me laugh, and I don't know why. I think he's talking to Priscilla Presley, and he says, "Did you have a description of the man?" Yes. He's a man with a mustache, 6'3", and Leslie Nielsen says, "That's awfully big for a mustache." I don't know why that makes me laugh. It still makes me laugh.
You know, when you go back and watch those movies, whether it be Airplane or The Naked Gun, there are little things in there that I catch, like new things that I didn't catch before.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's probably some of the funniest dialogue ever written.
If you are paying attention. The first time I saw it, I remember not being able to catch my breath.
Yeah.
Because I was laughing at every stupid line.
Yeah, but see, once you calm down and you can not laugh through it, then you can pick up the other jokes that you missed along the way.
But I find myself laughing every single time. Like there's so many damn things I missed. That's a mighty big mustache.
I still like The Naked Gun where they go into the dock and the outline of the body is in the water. As if this is where O.J. Simpson fell into the water.
Still funny.
30
O.J. or Nordberg?
Nordberg. Well, it was O.J. Simpson. That was before O.J. did all those bad things. The simpler times of O.J. Simpson.
He was just a great actor back then.
34 firearms. Actually, you know what? Now that you made me think of it, was that whole scene in the hospital where they're trying to console the wife.
Yeah.
And then what's his name? Who was the other cop in the older guy?
George Kennedy.
George Kennedy.
Yeah.
He says it's no way for a man to die, and he goes, "Yeah, getting your nuts spit off in the gears of a combine. That's the way I want to go." And she's like bawling her eyes out. 34 firearms and a substantial amount of ammunition were turned in on Saturday during Hampden County's annual gun buyback event. Hey, it's the annual gun buyback event. Bring out your firearms. Trade them in. The event is a community safety initiative coordinated by the Hampden DA's office, Bay State Health, and West Springfield Police Department. Held at the West Springfield Town Hall, the event provided residents with a safe and anonymous way to dispose of unwanted guns and ammunition. All the items collected will be securely destroyed to reduce the potential for gun-related accidents. Each gun turned in represents a potentially life-saving decision, said Hampden DA Anthony Gallooni. Whether it's a firearm, Tony. Yeah. Whether it's a firearm that a family no longer feels safe keeping or one that's simply no longer wanted, removing these weapons from homes and our streets helps prevent tragedies before they happen. In exchange for firearms and ammunition, the participants received gift cards to Big Y supermarkets with a $50 for a handgun, rifle or shotgun, and $100 for an assault weapon.
You know, when you put it that way, if I'm like, say, a guy who sells guns out of the back of his car. Yeah. Hypothetically. I've never done it, but let's say I did, and that's where I sell my guns out of.
Yeah.
I could empty out the trunk of my car and buy enough food for a backyard barbecue.
Ironically, one of those guns was the one that killed a superbird that is being sold in the very rotisserie chicken case.
Ironic as it may be, It is mouthwatering.
The gun buyback program is one element of the multifaceted public safety plan that includes youth outreach, school partnerships, and collaborations with healthcare providers and local law enforcement agencies. It's not a bad deal.
I'll tell you what, I'm almost thinking about buying a gun right now just to get like a carton of eggs, some cereal, and maybe some steaks.
But Big Y, that's a good prize. To trade in.
Yeah.
But we should work with other local businesses. You know?
Well, like what?
What about the day spa places? Like Face to Nails or something. Hey, listen, we cater the gift card to whatever you are, whatever you want.
Listen, I got the shotgun, but I really need some help with these ingrown toenails.
Yeah. What about the Autumn Mist Farms? You can get a gift card to Autumn Mist Farms. You can get a package of Home Wrecker hot dogs for a handgun.
What can I get for this rocket launcher?
We'll give you something. Hey, here's a gift card to Smithland Pet and Garden. How about that?
No expiration date.
You can use this anytime you want. It's National Mailbox Improvement Week.
What's your favorite gun buyback story?
No, what's your favorite mailbox improvement story?
Oh, my God.
We're changing gears here.
All right, good.
And every year, the Postal Service encourages people to take a look at their mailboxes and make sure they're in good shape. How's your mailbox doing?
It could use a little updating.
You need to be painted? Is there any dents in it? Scratches?
No dents. You know what happens? Like the little red flag that goes on the side of it to let the mailman know that there's a letter waiting to be mailed in there?
Yeah.
That thing fell off. After a plow got it.
And how many times have you mailed a letter from your own mailbox?
Never, but I would like to have the option.
You may have a mailbox that's a bit rusty or needs more love. Postal Service officials say this is to ensure your mail can be delivered quickly and safely. They're asking people to make sure your mailbox is located somewhere where it is easy to access. You can double-check that it's approved by the Postmaster General. This means the style of the mailbox follows their requirements to make sure they successfully make every delivery. You ever see I saw one, I can't remember where I saw it. It's a shotgun shell. And you're basically pulling down the door is the back end of the shotgun shell, which is pretty neat.
I had a friend whose parents, they had a great sense of humor. They had a mailbox on like a 25-foot pole. And on the box, it said airmail.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
That is bananas.
I'm looking at some crazy mailboxes here. Here's one with a big giant set of lips on it.
Uh-huh.
Like, you got to stick your hand into the lips
to
get the, I don't know. That's kind of weird.
You seen those that look like fish?
Huh?
Like the mailbox, it's actually like a fish with a hook on it. And that's how you pull the the mouth
yeah.
down, and you put
yeah.
the letters in there.
Like
you
a
put
big-
you put your junk mail in the fish's mouth.
Like a big mouth Billy Bass.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah. I don't have a mailbox. I have a P.O. box.
That's right, you do.
Because it's a lot easier to deal with that than it is to deal with a mailbox. Because the problem is the mailbox it's on a state highway.
Oh, yeah.
And matter of fact, when I moved in, I was told by the postal people, hey, by the way, you might want to, if you're going to use your P.O. box, you're going to want to get rid of the mailbox.
Get rid of it.
Because, I don't know. You could. You know what? The day later, a snowstorm came, and the town took it out for me.
Well, thank you very much.
Free of charge with a snowplow.
See, I'm thinking I've never used the P.O. box, so, what the hell do I know? But it seems to me that's kind of like an inconvenience to go all the way to the post office to check my mail.
It's a small town. It's not that hard to go down there.
Well, I live in a small town, too, but it's kind of out of the way for me to go to the post office.
I was born in a small town, and I live in a small town.
Uh-huh.
Gonna die in a small town.
But ain't that America?
Ain't that America?
Just you and me.
Yeah. A subcontractor died after falling through a skylight at the Utz potato chip factory roof. According to the York County Coroner's Office, 34-year-old Trevor Staten was part of a crew that was setting up scaffolding work on the roof of the Utz factory. Staten was on the roof and fell through the skylight onto a loading dock about 30 to 40 feet below.
Wow.
Staten was taken to the hospital where he died. Hanover Borough Police and this is in Pennsylvania, Occupational Safety and Health Administration are investigating.
Now, this is a tragedy, no question about it. But were any chips damaged in this accident?
Yes, I believe they had to pick him up in pieces with the sour cream and onion vat.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how comfortable I am making jokes about a man's death.
I'm not making jokes. I'm concerned about the chips.
Are you?
I like their chips.
Well, I like their chips too. I just don't know. Maybe we shouldn't be joking about a guy.
Okay. I'm just saying.
But
I'm just questioning what's going on.
His name was Spuds. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah, I know.
Utz
has just released a brand new limited edition lemonade flavored Utz potato chip. That sounds awful.
Really?
Yes.
They
lemonade, please.
They also have 34-year-old roofer flavor now too.
Now, if he had dropped into the cheese balls, that probably would have softened his fall.
Oh, yeah. Well, but unfortunately, he didn't. One of the worst tours I ever took was the Cape Cod potato chip factory. Have you ever done that?
No.
Yeah, that's not something that anybody really needs to see. It's over in 2 seconds. How much? Because you walk through this little alleyway of this building, and there's all these windows to show you, well, this is where they kettle cook the potato chips. This is where they put the potato chips on a conveyor belt. And this is where they bag the potato chips. And it's all like white in one place. And then at the end, you get a free small little bag of Cape Cod potato chips.
That's it?
In the gift shop that has more. The gift shop is bigger than the actual factory.
How much does this tour cost you?
It's free.
Well, it better be.
It's a free tour.
Well, that kind of rip off.
But what a boring tour that was. It was just something to do, I guess.
Yeah, I've told you about the Pabst Brewery tour. It's still the best corporate tour in America.
Was that the $5 one?
It's $5. You go in, you go through the tour. It's maybe like 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. It's hard to tell. But at the end of it, you get to drink as much as you want in 30 minutes. At that point, tour is over. Then you leave you leave the door, the exit. Yeah. It's right next to the entrance. For $20, you can go through that tour 4 times.
You know what used to be really dangerous?
What?
Was the Paper City Brew tasting nights in Holyoke. They used to. This was years ago. I don't even think they still do it anymore. Is that even still? Paper City's still in business, right? Paper City
believe
Brew.
So.
You could go up there and for like $8 for 2 hours, you could get crap housed trying all the different beers.
Yeah.
And then on the way out, they'd give you a 4-pack of whatever you wanted. That's
a good deal.
It's a good deal, but it's also, inherently dangerous, I would think. Because nobody was really paying attention to how much beer was being served to each customer.
Yeah, there's something to be said about unfettered access to as much beer as you can possibly drink in a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes that winds up blowing in your face.
By the way, somebody said the joke about the potato chip guy was in poor taste. No pun intended.
Well, it seems to me you've just made a joke about the joke. I think that's in poor taste.
Your Pioneer Valley let's just get out of this and get away from it. What? Ugh. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 61. Tomorrow, rainy with a high of 58. It is 47 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 7:56. Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds with a high of 61. It's 47 right now in downtown Springfield. We're just reading these the quotes from The Naked Gun. And I was referencing that scene in the hospital where Nordberg's wife,
right,
while they're all standing around him, she's like, "Oh, my poor Nordberg. He was such a good man, Frank. He never wanted to hurt anyone. Who would do such a thing?" And Ed says it's hard to tell, and Frank goes, "A roving gang of thugs, a blackmailer, an angry husband, a gay lover," and she starts sobbing even harder. "A good cop needlessly cut down and ambushed by some cowardly hoodlum. That's no way for a man to die." And he says, "Yeah, you're right, Ed. A parachute not opening. That's the way to die. Getting caught in the gears of a combine. Having your nuts bit off by a Laplander. That's the way I want to go." And she's just crying her eyes out even harder as she do it.
Oh.
And then at the end, he goes, "What I'm trying to say, Wilma, as soon as Nordberg is better, he's welcome back at police squad. Unless he's a drooling vegetable, but I think that's only common sense." I got to go watch that again now.
I know. It's so damn funny.
Yeah.
Hey, the Refugee, the ultimate Tom Petty and Heartbreakers experience is coming to 52 Sumner on May 30th. We happen to have a pair of tickets right now. 10th caller, 293-1021. Good luck to you. Great show at a great venue, 52 Sumner on Sumner Avenue in Springfield.
I like the nurse comes in. "Mrs. Nordberg, I think we can save your husband's arm. Where would you like it sent?" There you go. Good luck on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, they often say that to get ahead in life, a fella needs to dress for his success. They also say that clothes make the man. That's why I only wear the finest T-shirts made from only the most luxurious synthetic fibers, because when it comes to looking good, I spare no expense at the Walmart bargain bin and clearance rack. Sadly, some people ignore the rules of appropriate dress and slap on any old thing before leaving the house, but when that happens, you can expect consequences. For example, yesterday, the NBA fined Oklahoma City Thunder All-Star forward Jalen Williams $25,000 for wearing an inappropriate T-shirt at Sunday's post-game press conference following the team's Game 7 win over the Denver Nuggets. During the press conference, Jalen Williams was dressed in a T-shirt which read, and I quote, "F art, let's dance." Now, as you know, I'm not one to judge. However, it has always been my belief that wearing T-shirts with inappropriate words, messages, phrases, or images are often intentional decisions which are made to provoke negative and possibly combative responses. This is why most people choose not to wear these kinds of things at job interviews, funerals, weddings, court appearances, and NBA post-game press conferences. This is why the NBA handed down the $25,000 fine, because you see, press conferences are often seen as a reflection of the league itself. Wearing a T-shirt that suggests an inappropriate physical action to the conceptual ambiguities of artistic expression to make room for dancing not only doesn't make any sense, it's also offensive. You see, not all of us can dance. Moreover, there are other ways of making the same argument without having to resort to the use of coarse and offensive language to do it, especially in front of the hot lights and cameras of an NBA press conference. Either way, you just turned that $14 T-shirt into one that cost you $25,000 to wear. It's not just a matter of you being stupid. It's also a matter of you being financially careless. And as a supporter of free speech, I can't support that kind of thing. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, an ego is quieter than a gas mower. No pull cord to start it, no stinky gasoline. You can flip an ego mower upside down if you really wanted to. Why? I don't know. But you can go to Rocky's, get an ego mower for $5.99 with your Ace Rewards card. It includes battery and charger. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
102 Springfield's classic rock. It's 8:11 in Fleetwood Mac with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be a mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 61. Tomorrow, rainy with a high of 58. It's 47 right now in downtown Springfield. 2 calls in a row.
You know, do you know that Rock 102 has been on the air for more than 50 years?
50 years?
And in that time, there are certain rules that have been made public. And among them is you can't win a prize within 30 days. It's a rule. Not only our rule, a lot of radio stations have the same rule. If you're winning more than 30 days apart, you're being a hooer.
And then when I put your number into the system, and it says you've won 30 days ago, or within 30 days, the one guy was like, "What did I win?" If you don't remember what you won within the last month from here,
I mean, it must have not have been a really great prize, but yeah, you won something.
I don't understand these people. What again with the open line calls on Friday, and people. 2 calls in a row of people who have won within the last 30 days. What is with the dinkage going on around here?
I have no idea. And you know what? I mean, in all my years of working in radio stations, and there have been many, I don't think I've ever seen a situation where 2 people back-to-back failed the 30-day rule. And you know, we got a database of information that proves it.
Yeah.
You won something, you're in the database.
We will find you. We're like the Liam Neeson of prizes. We can find you. And even if you give us your name and a different number, we'll still find you in there.
Yeah, so if you're thinking, hey, I can get away with this and they'll never know.
No.
We'll know.
They'll know.
So if you won something within 30 days, don't bother. Let somebody else have some fun.
Anywho, the first mass-produced flying car will go on sale early next year.
Really?
But even if you get a good deal on financing, it's got a hefty price tag. A company in Slovakia called Klein Vision says its new air car will cost a very reasonable $800,000. Up to $1 million if you want upgrades.
Like doors and wheels?
Yeah. Even if you can't afford it, you might not want one. It's technically a flying car, but not the hover car we were promised in the movies like Back to the Future, you know, where Doc was like, where we're going, we don't need roads. It's not that kind of car.
Yeah.
It's basically just a sports car with retractable wings and a propeller in the back. So you can't lift off in traffic. You still need a runway and a pilot's license. It transforms into an airplane in under 2 minutes, has a range of 621 miles, and a top cruising speed of 155 miles an hour at 18,000 feet. They'll hit the sky in early 2026, at least in Europe. They're hoping to get them approved in the U.S. This fall. I'm looking at this thing. It's like a little Cessna on wheels, but like a futuristic designed Cessna.
Can you even bring it on the road?
You can bring it on the road because the wings retract, but you can't take off from the highway.
Yeah.
And the roads aren't built for that anyway. Like with overpasses and underpasses and light poles and all those other things, that's not going to be happening. We don't have that technology, and I don't know if we ever will, of that hover car thing. You're not gonna. That's just some futuristic sci-fi movie stuff. That's not what's really gonna happen.
Like even in Star Wars, you know, when Luke is riding on that hovercraft thing, going to this place and that place with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
You know how they did that? I just saw this the other day, and I'm like, that's how they did that? If you remember, he's racing this thing like down like desert, like in the sand everywhere, trying to avoid like the sand people and stuff.
Yeah.
And the way they did it was they put a mirror at the bottom of it, so it reflected the sand that was in front of the side of the vehicle. So it looked like it was actually floating, when in fact it wasn't floating at all. It just had a mirror showing more. It's an optical illusion.
With a green screen? Is that what it was?
I don't even know if it was a green screen. I think the thing actually had tires, but then it had a mirror on the side of it that went down to the ground, so it looked like it was hovering above the ground, when in fact it wasn't doing any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crap.
We don't really need flying vehicles. It's bad enough on the roads. Can you imagine how stupid we're going to be? If we're flying around the air. Yeah, how bad they're going to be driving in the air.
If it ever happened, if it ever came to fruition, there would be many, many, many deaths in the beginning.
There'd be loads of deaths
before they perfected it.
So many deaths that someone's going to say these things are not safe, and we should go back to the old-fashioned days.
A flying car,
ridiculous.
Please.
Who needs it?
Anywho, we're just doing some hodgepodge stuff here. Fortune.com just posted a list of, people are graduating now.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10 college degrees that earn the least amount of money straight out of school. Surprisingly, radio broadcaster is not one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. Maybe most people just don't assume it's an actual real degree.
Well, I guess you could put it under performing arts, right?
More like performing farts, if you ask me.
Number 1, a foreign language. Majoring in French. That's the lowest at $40,000 a year.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, French is the international language of love.
Yeah, but nobody's buying that right now.
I guess.
General social sciences, jobs like youth counselor or teacher's aide.
Those are not real high-paying jobs, no.
Performing arts is number 3. Anthropology is number 4.
Really? There aren't anthropologists out there making bank?
Digging up bones. Isn't that what that is?
Yeah.
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 You're kind of dusting off old relics. Early childhood education.
Okay.
Family and consumer sciences. What is that?
I don't really know.
General education.
Okay.
Miscellaneous biological sciences. Jobs like lab tech or research assistant.
See, I would have thought that would have brought in something, at least a livable wage.
Social services.
Yeah, those are
pretty low-paying jobs.
They can be, yes.
Theology and religion. Which I thought religion was making a big comeback now. Wasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if
Christians are really going balls to the wall now with all their biblical stuff.
I don't know if I feel comfortable saying balls to the wall and religion in the same sentence.
Well, I'm not. I don't.
It's gaining popularity.
Yeah, okay.
Steve, I think that probably is a little bit more appropriate.
Balls to the wall. Wasn't it Jesus who came up with the lyrics to Get Low?
No.
To the windows, to the walls.
I don't believe so.
You don't think so?
I'm pretty sure that was not Jesus.
Yeah, the last 7 on the list all tied at $42,000 a year. They also did the lowest paying mid-career degrees, meaning you've been at it a while and you're still underpaid. Hello!
Now we're on the list.
Yeah. Early childhood education ranks last at $49,000, followed by elementary education at $53,000. They noted that new grads with degrees in STEM tend to make more. That's science, technology, engineering, and math, something I would never be good at.
No, I could never teach that. Ever.
I don't know. What do you think the most popular job is right now to be graduating with?
Most popular meaning the highest paid?
Yeah, or something that you'd be able to get.
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of engineering or computer science jobs out there. Uber drivers. Do you need a degree for that?
I think you do.
Yeah, I don't know.
You need a degree in cleaning services to clean the puke out of the back of the Uber.
Steve, if I knew what career paid the best coming out of college, don't you think that I would have done that?
Mm-mm. Because you're not smart enough.
That is true. You know what?
I don't think you applied yourself as much as you could.
Oh, I think that's putting it mildly.
You went 5 years at I always say Ivy League school.
It's not.
What was it?
A Jesuit school.
A Jesuit school.
Yeah, that's not Ivy League.
You and the Jesuits hanging out together.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the best you could come up with was radio broadcasting.
Here's an ironic truthhood about my family. Okay, there is actually a scholarship at Harvard that if your name is either Bax and Nagle or Hudson, and I don't know why Hudson, but if either one of those, there is a scholarship at Harvard for if you have that name.
Named after you?
Not after me. The story, as I understand it, the guy that invented the steel-shanked shoe was named Bax and Nagle.
Say that 10 times fast.
10 times fast.
Yeah.
And he left he had no kids. He had no children. And they had an island that they owned. And they were not really college educated, but they left all their money in the island to Harvard. And so there was a scholarship set up for any kid named Bax and Nagle to go to Harvard. The problem is there's never been a Bax and Nagle smart enough to get in. So as far as I know, that is an untapped scholarship in which no Bax and Nagle has ever risen to the occasion to go.
Just sitting there?
Just sitting there collecting interest, untouched for generations.
That sounds like an unbelievable story.
It's a true story.
Really?
It is if you spent the time to look it up, you will find it.
I had a friend in high school whose father always claimed that they were somehow related to one of the Lee or the Perrins of the Worcestershire sauce fortune.
Is that a fact?
But they didn't have any of that money, which I think it was a made-up story. And I think your story is made up as well.
It is absolutely not made up. The Bax and Nagle Scholarship is available to students with the following restrictions in order of preference. Descendant of Allen Bedford Hudson, and students with the name Bax and Nagle or Hudson, applicants to Harvard College may apply for consideration directly to the Committee of General Scholarships by submitting a letter requesting consideration for the scholarship, including their Harvard College class, a summary of the genealogy that qualifies the applicant, address, telephone, email, contact information. The letter must be accompanied by a certified genealogy report demonstrating eligibility, as well as a birth certificate.
How much is it?
My understanding is it's the full
ride?
deal. That's my understanding of it. Now, I could be wrong.
Why don't you apply for that? Why don't
because
you go
I'm
back?
Stupid.
Go back to school.
For what?
You could go back. Come on, you're just as smart as any other one
Why?
out there.
So it could take me 12 years to get a master's degree?
So what? At least you could say you graduated from Harvard.
Oh, he's wearing a Harvard tie. I said, oh, sure. He went to Harvard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could do that.
But trust me when I tell you. Trust me. As we are not Harvard material. We're not Ivy League folk.
We're overpaying for a Jesuit college kind of material. That's the kind of material we are.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, my kids are all very, very bright kids. Make no mistake.
How much did you spend on that education?
Well, again, it's hard to say because you're talking about, mid to late 80s.
Yeah, but still, it cost a good penny to go there.
Back then, it was considered to be a moderately priced private university, not top tier.
And how much was
not
that
the bottom
back then?
I want to say it was like between $13,000 and $20,000 a year.
Oh, that's pretty. That was pretty. Hefty
by today's standards, that's nothing. Now, if you were to go, it's way too much money.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous.
What a waste of money.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't you really just buying a degree when you go to a school? You're kind of, you really, how bad do you have to be? You have to be pretty bad in order to flunk out of someplace.
Well, I told you.
Yeah.
And this was confirmed to me by my dean that there has never been a graduate at Marquette that has spent more semesters on academic probation than you.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
Fat, drunk, and stupid.
There's no way to get through life, son.
Actually was a way to get through life. You made it.
Yeah, there were two of us at the time that got that designation, and I actually beat Chris Farley for that.
I bet you would have flunked out had you not paid the bill.
No. I was walking a very thin tightrope for a while.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that if you did you have loans? Did you take out loans? So if you didn't had taken out the loan and didn't make a payment, you probably would have been flunked out.
Oh, they wouldn't have wanted me there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They only wanted the money. They don't care.
They certainly didn't see any promise.
You can go for as many semesters as you want.
They certainly didn't look at me and see success in my future. And as it turned out, there was none waiting for me.
What are you talking about? You're one of the most successful people to graduate from Marquette in that year in the category of radio broadcasting, in the category of sub-regional New England, in the category of Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's a big well.
Yeah.
That's a big cup.
You're the top one.
Yeah. Well, then I take that back.
Yeah, see, there you go.
It's 8:26 on Rock 102.
Springfield's classic rock is awesome, and it's free. And
8:33 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by the law offices of Mark E. Salamone. Injured? Tell the insurance company you mean business. Call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1 right now. Here's local radio icon, Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Traffic alert. Road hog. I-91 North, there's a backup. Heading through the Chicopee curve, it's an accident in the left lane just after exit 10A. Hopefully that'll be that was about 30 minutes ago, so hopefully that'll be cleared up soon. But I-91 North, right after exit 10A, there's an accident, so don't go that way if you don't have to. All right?
Good advice.
All right. The Post Commission has voted to revoke the certification of 2 Western Massachusetts police officers and not to discipline a third officer. The commission voted to decertify former Springfield officer Leon Davis, who they found used excessive force when shocking a woman multiple times with a taser back in 2020. They also voted to decertify former Agawam Reserve Police officer Matthew Hubbard for lying on an official form about previous injuries and the fact that he was receiving disability payments. I put down lack of interest as an entry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
I thought my apathy would be a disability.
A third officer, Springfield officer Stanley Clerge, will not have his certification revoked. A hearing did not find allegations of domestic violence against Clerge to be credible. So, there you go. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Not so bad.
I beat you, I tase you. There ain't no way I'm ever going to get a disability check. Now, don't be sad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Right. After being accused of plagiarizing sections of numerous internal blog posts, Bay State Health's president and CEO Peter Banco issued a letter Friday to employees about the problem. 7 years ago.
Ask not what your country can do for you.
I want to take this opportunity to formally apologize to you, my 13,000 colleagues at Bay State Health, for impacting your relationship and trust with me as your president and CEO, wrote Banco, who took the helm as CEO last June. He stopped short of calling it plagiarism, however. This citation was I don't want to say plagiarism. That would be copying somebody else's words.
Yes, this is research.
This citation issue was an error in judgment, he wrote. I'm embarrassed that I subjected you, the board, fellow senior leaders, the organization, and my family to the scrutiny of this most uncomfortable situation. I sincerely ask for your forgiveness for my mistake. In the letter, he referred to multiple instances as an isolated incident. Last week, the Republican had banned dozens of internal blog posts about a range of topics that appeared under Banco's name. A number of posts had sentences or passages that were identical or very similar to other published materials from sources like NPR, Wikipedia, Harvard Business Review's blog, Inc.com, and Forbes.com.
See, here's the thing. It's okay to apologize for a single incident.
Yeah.
But it was it's like one thing, one time. That's all I did, one time.
Yeah.
Except these are dozens upon dozens upon dozens of times that he has pinched words from a different source.
You know that one post where it says, "Dear Google, find me some inspirational articles to put out to my employees along with the article." That's where you messed up. He did not include any citations in those instances and put forth the writing as his own. For example, in January, a post about Martin Luther King Jr. speeches, several sentences in Benko's post are nearly identical to quotes that experts gave to NPR in analyzing King's addresses.
But he wasn't using those as quotes. He was referencing the exact words as his own. That's the difference. He's not quoting. He's not attributing a source. There's none of that.
No, I mean, you can have an entire article filled with other people's... Hey, I read this article the other day that said, and then you quote it, and then you say that came from NPR. That's different.
That's fine.
Than putting your own name to something. Oh, I wrote this.
Yeah, this guy's never referenced a source or ibited anything in his life.
Bay State said the complaint is being managed as an internal compliance matter, said Heather Dugan, a spokesperson for the hospitals last week. The Bay State Health Board of Trustees has discussed it and addressed it with our president and CEO. When asked what actions, if any, the board has taken, she declined to comment. The board, Benko wrote, is holding me accountable for my actions. His letter contains no further details of how that accountability is taking shape. In his letter, Benko described his blog writing as personal, sincere, and transparent. Meanwhile, the internal blog has been wiped of all the posts as of Monday morning, according to an employee who submitted a complaint earlier this month. The employee did not want to be named to protect their job. Dugan did not immediately reply to an inquiry Monday about the status of the blog post. The problem was reported to Bay State in January and again in May. They knew about this 5 months ago. Benko's recent letter notes 2 reporting dates as well. Even after the report in January, Benko posted blogs with plagiarized material. Oh, well, nobody did anything about it. Let me just continue to do this.
He clearly got away with it.
It was only when it got leaked to the press earlier this month that the plagiarism stopped, said the Bay State employee. They absolutely tried to bury it. A post in February about cooking, for example, included you're copying recipes now? Included a paragraph that's nearly word for word as the same passage in the Wikipedia page for Leah Chase, known as the Queen of Creole Cuisine. Yeah, when you start writing blog posts about recipes and go fried in butter, y'all.
I'm going to add some essence. Bam!
Yeah. Another titled All Apologies, published late last month, is about corporate apologies. Well, that's ironic. In one section, Benko writes about an apology late Apple CEO Steve Jobs wrote in 2007. Multiple sentences are very similar to a post from Inc.com published in 2022. Inc.com says of Jobs' letter, the entire thing is a masterclass in admitting when you're wrong. Benko writes the exact same sentence, changing your to you are. Oh, well, at least you took the contraction out.
That's totally different.
You can read Benko's apology letter online. One person commented on a post Benko wrote in April asking him if he had a ghostwriter. You have a ghostwriter? And he wrote, I'm afraid of ghosts, so I write all my own stuff. Wah, 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 wah. Here's the punishment, okay?
Yes.
You submit your pay stub, but then the hospital has to negotiate with you like they're negotiating a health claim and saying, well, this wasn't covered under your contracted policy. We're only going to pay half of what we would have normally paid you. Make him go through the whole health claim system.
Yeah. Good luck with all of that.
Yeah. I'm afraid of ghosts. I don't have a ghostwriter.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. That's what he said. Quote.
You can get it up. Come on.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's personal, don't you think?
That's not what your boyfriend said last night. Yeah, this is the new. This is the song you're gonna hear when you walk into Bay State now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bay State.
Welcome. Let me see my artwork that I have copied from every artist out there.
Now, ironically, this song was ripped off from Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh!
Remember that?
Ah.
As a plagiarism claim.
Is there something strange in your neighborhood?
Who you gonna call?
Peter Banko!
There's something weird.
And it don't look good.
Who you gonna call?
Peter Banko! Doesn't he say it?
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
There you go.
Oh my God!
It's like Scooby Doo.
Ghosts?
Hey Pete, we gotta get these articles reproduced from NPR. What do you say, Scoob?
Zoinks!
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be cloudy eventually with a high of 61. Tomorrow, rain showers with a high of 58. It is 47 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Aluminum wiring, loose outlets.
50 and Lenny Kravitz with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Hang on. 1 second.
Yeah, go let it sink in.
Yeah, watch that down. Hang on. Yum.
We just got to, you ever recall, was it yesterday we're talking about this?
Yeah, I said over the weekend I was at that the fundraiser, the Groovin' with Garrett, and there was all these raffle prizes, and I put in for a gift card to Comfort Bagel.
Yeah.
And which I didn't even know existed in Westfield. I knew it had been in like Holyoke, I think, before. Now it's in Westfield. And I said, I'll just go down Sunday morning and grab some bagels for me and the kids. And we were talking about how I couldn't even leave the parking lot without putting one in my mouth.
Right.
And then having two more.
Yeah.
Later on in the day. Well, they were nice enough to drop off a whole plethora of bagels for us here and the staff here at Rock 102. So thank you so much to Comfort Bagel. I just had the jalapeno cheddar one.
I just had that base season and salt one that you mentioned yesterday.
Yeah.
Damn, that was
old
good.
Bay seasoning one, yeah, that was good.
Super good. So thanks to Comfort Bagels for providing that.
With the cream cheese, too.
Whoo, man.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, it is a Shop Tuesday this morning at 9 o'clock. If you go to rock102.com, you can save 30% off at Nini's Restaurant in East Hampton. An authentic Italian-American cuisine restaurant, incredible Italian cannolis, pizza, pasta, seafood, and a full bar. Great for the family on a date. That's starting at 9 o'clock today at the Shop 30 store at rock102.com. Don't miss out. Good place to go for 30% off.
Talking about that Peter Banko, the plagiarism thing. What did you pull up?
Oh, this is Tom Lehrer, who did the Vatican rag and poisoning pigeons in the park.
Yeah.
He did a song about this mathematician. I'm just going to play part of it because I think it says everything you need to know.
Plagiarize. Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please, research.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show you that hospital executives, it's true what they say. You know, they really
it's
do.
It's just not true what they write. That's all.
They really do recycle everything, including their ethics.
You know what? You're right. The word recycling, I think, is an important thing. You know, I think we're in a world now where recycling makes all kinds of sense. And if recycling words and thoughts and intentions are what you would need to do to make a point, doggone it, go ahead and do it.
I mean, they usually prefer to overcharge people for original work done at a hospital.
Right, but if you're borrowing words, that's totally different.
It is, yeah, and the worst part is he didn't even use like Chat GPT. At least like make an effort to it.
Again, you know, he wrote a letter apologizing to his the employees over there.
Yeah,
saying that this was a mistake. which I repeated dozens and dozens
of times. Yes.
That's not a mistake. That's a pattern of behavior. It's a big difference.
Well, the apology becomes the not I'm sorry to you. I'm sorry that I got caught. Because once you finally get called out on something like that, you know.
Well, I mean, it does kind of make people question your trustworthiness.
It does, but it's almost like you're getting paid $2.3 million a year. You can't come up with something.
Is that what he's getting paid?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
All the meanwhile, while they're making cuts to jobs across the hospital system. Well, who made this decision? Well, this guy. What has he done? Well, he's written several scholarly articles. Well, copied and pasted several scholarly articles and put them out to employees for inspiration. What's your favorite plagiarism story?
Yeah, the only reason he did is it worked before.
Yeah, it worked before. Why wouldn't it work again? I like how he got called out in January for it, yet continued to do it again for months afterwards.
Now, he's not, going to go on a sabbatical or anything and, go home and work on some like a memoir.
Yeah, I'm doing research.
No, I'm writing a play called Death of a Salesman. It worked so well before.
Yes, I'm going under the pen name John Pissum. This is going to be called A Time to Murder Somebody.
I'm going to write a book.
Yeah.
And the book is about the book is about this big giant whale.
Yeah.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
And it bites the protagonist's leg off.
Maybe you've heard about my latest work, Catcher in the Sourdough. It's about a young hospital CEO trying to find his way in the world.
Oh, and he's got problems, that's for sure. He's got problems.
How about this one? Of mice and emasculated men. Good times. Well, there you go. We just wanted to get up to 8:56 so we can end this.
The Prunes of Wrath.
Yeah, the Prunes of
It's 8:56 on Rock 102.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 9:11 in the Doors with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be a mix of sun and clouds today with a high of something. Where the hell did my weather go? Where do we go here? Hang on a second.
Okay.
I'm right here.
Cloudy,
right here.
I know that.
Well, eventually cloudy. It's nice and sunny out right now. High of 61. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 58. Could see some rain showers. It's 53 right now in downtown Springfield. Are you ready for some fun facts, Bax?
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The backs of life, the backs of life. We're not always kings and queens.
I keep forgetting to say that.
Yeah, well, I can start it again if you want me to.
Yeah, do it again.
Okay, all right.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The backs of life, the backs of life.
Okay,
that was well worth it.
It was totally worth doing again.
All right, number one fun fact for today.
Number one.
Carmel, California bans high heels over 2 inches without a permit. Because nothing ruins a rich white coastal vibe like Becky face planting in stilettos while drunk on an $18 rosé.
That's probably true.
Excuse me, officer. I was just trying to get railed behind the wine bar, not file for zoning approval for my F-me heels. Number two.
Number two.
The most watched episode of the 2010s was Undercover Boss right after the Super Bowl.
I didn't know that.
Because nothing screams rock-hard primetime erection like watching a bloated CEO pretending to mop up urine in the break room while some poor bastard with 3 kids cries because he got a $500 bonus and a pat on the head like a good little corporate gump. Number three. Cobain and Novoselic originally played in Creedence cover band called The Sellouts.
Really?
A band called the Sellouts playing CCR? That's not irony. That's musical foreplay for dudes who climax on truck commercials. Number 4. 1.2 million mosquitoes biting you at once would drain all of your blood. So basically, it's like dating an emotionally unstable OnlyFans creator with 3 burner phones and a blood fetish. 1 minute she's calling you daddy, and the next you're passed out in a tub with your debit card missing and a TikTok video of your last gasp going viral.
And don't forget a missing kidney.
You can't forget the missing kidney. Number 5. The T-shirt was invented in 1904 for bachelors who couldn't sew buttons.
Oh, okay.
So the T-shirt is literally the first invention for lazy D-bags who can't even keep their nipples from popping out of a shirt without help. Fast forward a century, and now they've got stains shaped like slogans like "World's Okayest Lover." I need to work on that one.
Yeah, it's okay. You can workshop. Okay. It's still good, Steve.
Go back to the OnlyFans one with the bloodsucker. And there you go. That's your mud bag for the day.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The Bax of Life.
The Bax of Life.
The Bax of Life.
Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
GG Inc.'s screen printing